Today, there's an exciting event. We have with us Dr. Gargi Roy Goswami. She's a career coach and herself as inspiration to the healthcare community and how her career pathing happened. So we'll discuss all these. So welcome to the event, ma'am.
Thank you for your invitation. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah. So Dr. Gargi, we will introduce quickly what our platform is doing, and then kindly take us through your own career journey. That's really inspirational, and that
Sure.
audience can correlate and they can follow. So we are basically India's largest healthcare community platform, and we are called Swasa. That's our brand name. We were born during pandemic. We started our journey helping patients, and we helped unique 50,000 plus patients during pandemic through different healthcare services, ambulatory service, oxygen, critical medicines, even funeral services. But we realized there is a dire need to unite healthcare community to help the India. So we united the healthcare community through our platform swasa.jobs, which helps the community with the job opportunities, career guidance, uh, through different career coaches. And the community itself can also contribute their own story, their own resume writing tips, the government exam preparation. So there are 14,000 jobs. So they can go abroad also through our platform without paying any fee or commission. We don't charge any. We just brought the community together. 400 plus medical colleges, 1,200 plus companies are there, 1 million plus healthcare professionals, doctors, dentists, the personas working in pharma industry, which is a research operation or QA/QC. So different paramedical nurses and more. So this was the request by the itself in community. We went to various colleges and they said we want to start career in medical affairs, medical writing. So we saw you're, I think, very popular in this particular field, and your journey has been really kind of inspirational for everyone. So, ma'am, I request you to please share your journey first to the whole community. Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you. I think uh, a journey itself, our path in life, which I believe people say that we need plan, we need to do predictions. I have a different perspective because life is always unpredictable, and it has been proved through the pandemic, I guess. So I have interdisciplinary academics. So I'll start with academics, and then because I need to relate that what I would like to share what I do, and you will know why I do that, because that's why I need to, put out my academics first. So I'm an interdisciplinary oral healthcare professional. I am basically trained as a geneticist and a typical molecular biologist, and I also am trained as a general dentist. And by heart, I'm a scientist, and by profession, I am both a dentist and scientist, and I am academician to the core. So that is how I put out myself. And well, I started my venture, but this is the first venture in India in terms of education and training in the field of dental genetics and saliva diagnostics, as well as we are into the domain of guiding students, professionals, or anybody, particularly I am a little bit biased about women. I'm very feminist. So because of my entire team is all women. So particularly women needs to take career breaks for different reasons. So when they come back, so there
Wow.
should be some platform which or a opportunity to place themselves and put their knowledge out. So with all together all these things, I think the scientific writing industry was always very big, but with the COVID, we always have some positives with the negative things. COVID was not a good thing for anybody, but with COVID, what I see that the industry of medical writing, scientific writing has grown, and that is where where I actually focus on training, solving typical problems. If today somebody wants to start, or if they are trying to shift from one career to this area, and I think that is something which inspires me a lot. And I love writing. I do something which I love, that is by God's grace. And I also authored a book on COVID-19 detection strategies, Swab to Saliva. You can find it on Amazon. So that book is basically, anybody who knows to read English, they will understand. So so this is all about in a nutshell. And I actually started, I always saw saliva in a different, from a perspective. As a student, I literally, this is my open journey. My journey is very open. So there's nothing hiding. I was very inquisitive, and it just crossed path. I started reading a research paper when I was a student. Then I kept just reading, and what I used to do is I shoot emails to the authors or the professors if I had any questions in mind. So most of the time I would get answers. I would get that. So as a student only, I developed some interest, but I really didn't know that something has to be done with it. So with that, when I understood and I see the field growing and the potential of this biological fluid, and it is such a fluid which helps sorry, it's a multidisciplinary fluid, I call it that way. It is not for specifically for dentist, medical, MBB, I mean pharma, biologist, not like that. Everybody comes together if you really want to shine out with saliva. So therefore I thought that something has to be done. So again, by chance, I kind of like keep digging information. So I could bring the parent or parent community of saliva to India in the form of a conference which I do every year. It is International Saliva Summit of India. The parent uh, of this event is North American Saliva Symposium, which started in 2014, and from 2019, fortunately, I could do. I did it. So we bring global people here. They share their experiences, and it is a fantastic area. I mean, with saliva, you can go anywhere. I mean, right from, you can assess diseases, early detection, cancer, environmental toxicity, anything on earth that you can think on. So that is how versatile it is. So with this community, the global community of saliva itself is little small comparatively, but then I think it's growing like anything now. And again, COVID has been best for saliva because people do not like to prick. People run away from doctors because of needles. So saliva gives you that power of non-invasiveness. That is the best part. So yeah, so that is how I started SALSI, which is the abbreviation of International Saliva Summit of India. And with SALSI, I have seen that I have personally learned a lot, and it gives me so much of inspiration. And this is a platform which I could do, and it is an interdisciplinary platform. So everybody right from biomedical engineering, from microbiology, any biology, core biology subjects, pharma, dentistry, everybody can come in here and they can learn. And they can, if they want to plunge in, they can. So that is how we have built. And unfortunately, due to COVID, we couldn't continue our physical format, but I didn't stop. So I mean, I just couldn't stop. So after 2020 Jan, suddenly COVID happened. Then we went online, and probably next year we might, again come back with the physical format. So with all these things, I think it's a small life that I have led, and I think it's just a beginning. I haven't traveled a lot, so I have to. I mean,
That's good.
I
Very
mean,
inspirational journey, I would say. Also, something you built particularly to community from the scratch. Also, you are founder chairman of founder and director of Indian Academy of Clinical and Dental Genetics. So we'll
yes,
talk about that also. And your current journey also, you're assistant editor, Dental Tribune South Asia.
yes.
So how's their scientific writing going? So one basic questions I would ask first for freshers, the fresher, lot of community also freshers. After what all courses one can pursue scientific writing?
Okay.
You mean to say after completing which all degree?
All right. So basically, there are 2-3 things that I want to say to answer these questions. your question, first question. Um, Writing is a skill. So I want to break that myth. Right? People think the normal myth that goes around is we are born, somebody needs to be a writer. So how I say that, do you remember when for the first time you learned to swallow your food? Or do you remember when you took that first breath and you cried when you came from, in the world? So same way, I feel that writing is a skill, and you need to be into it either with your interest, or if you are looking forward to a journey, you want to pursue it as a career, then you need to acquire it as a, you do not need any talent. Anybody can do scientific writing. That is what I want to say firstly. Now your question that what kind of courses they can take. Well, nowadays lot of short, small, big courses are there. Now first of all, before even deciding to take a course, what you should look into it is that first you should analyze yourself, because this journey needs two, three things. Like for any path, like if you want to become an engineer, you have to be good at maths, and you need certain attributes to be added. You need to sit with the data a lot of the time, so you need that kind of acumen. So similarly in scientific writing, before even you want to go, you have to understand that this is something where you need to be very patient, you need to be kind of good multitasker, and you also need to have a hold of the language. So these three things are very essential, and most essential is critical thinking and problem solving skills. So basically, as I said, that anybody can become a scientific writer. So before that, I would like to say that there are two things inside scientific writing. One that pops up today, and a lot, this industry is going high up, that is medical writing. So medical writing or science journalism and comes under the banner of scientific writing. Scientific writing, you can tell it's a mother. So now what you like, you should choose. Like I will give you my example because I can only do that. So for example, it is not that I don't like to write research papers, which are publishable ones, which are published in journal, academic papers. It is not that I can't or I don't, it is something which I cannot do or I hesitate. I can do it very well. But for me, my preference is I love to talk to people about science in the way they understand. So this is also a very big industry where you are communicating complex science to people. So what you want to do, whether you want to take up journalism or typically science communication, or you want to take up, you have that acumen and you can go into, more of research writing. So first of all, you have to decide on these two things, and then you can decide on going to taking up training. If you don't have that formal training, you can train yourself. There are a lot of online courses, there are free courses. And one good thing I want to really give out the information, which I see that, before you choose a course, you should know about what exactly you want out of it. Okay, it is first not a, definitely money comes, the course fees comes, but you should also know, you should go and harness more about that course, what they are offering. And you should do your homework, that if you don't understand a module's name, because every course mostly the module structure is given, so you do your own Google or Bing, you can do anything, and you first understand what things they are going to offer. Because I know that as a student, or when we are starting out, we don't know all these things, we follow the flock. So, and for myself, I have never followed the flock, so my perspective to life is little different, to look into career is little different, because I will always do a homework. I will not do something which my professor is telling or my senior is telling. I'm not giving a wrong message here, you need all these people in your life. But what I'm trying to say, do not follow blindly one path. And before you take scientific writing, do one thing, that is personality test of yourself. Lot of tests. Yes, because personality test is important, because if you are not that type of a person who can stick to it, you will not be good at this game.
Correct.
And the best part with scientific writing is that either you can choose it as a mainstream career, or if you are doing something, you can add on, to as a parallel income stream. And you can also become a freelancer where you have, you become your own boss, or you can get jobs, because this is a very fantastic field. So I'm sorry I made a little bit of long answer to your
No,
question.
it's
So
really interesting. So you said ki one thing, you should be passionate about your whatever you
yes,
choose, if this is a career. And as a fresher, you should go if you want to choose this career, because we don't know. As a fresher, we are kind of in that dilemma what to choose as a career. Then one should go through their particularly the personality test, and then they should test their skill. So this is the also what kind of the personas, the medical and dental, they complete their BDS or MBBS, because
yes,
some people go directly into medical writing. Also the one who is also into, they have done PharmD or MPharm, they also go into medical writing. But as a fresher, you decide through your personality test. So any specific criteria and test I'm really very raw question I'm asking. In personality test, what the particular criteria? Is it you just scientific writing may particular any particular skill
no,
you
no, no.
assess?
Just a personalities. If you Google right now, you'll get a lot of them. And I don't suggest to go for any paid and all. There are a lot of, just for your interest, you can do. It would be like a game for you. You will understand what you will understand more about yourself. What I personally believe, and the things that I am telling you right now about this personality test, or this applies to any field actually. To be
Yeah,
very honest,
yeah,
particularly for scientific writing, you need certain skills that you need to adapt to it if you are thinking to take it up as a career. Another important point which I think I missed in this answer, I would like to add, is please don't go and randomly apply to jobs.
yeah,
My request. Why? Because I am a person from the industry. As you have a pain as freshers, or beginners, that you think, okay, I don't know, I'm confused which to apply. Now I applied. Some people come and tell that I applied 50 jobs, 100 jobs, and I'm rejected. And I mean, not rejected, they don't even reply. So my one question to the fresher communities is that, have you ever asked this question to yourself, that why my application was not even read? Forget rejection. Rejection is a good thing because you learn from it. But here is like sending cold emails. I mean, nobody replies. So if you, this is a thing that you should focus. And then if you try to dig the why inside you, you will see that you have lot of scopes where you can improve. And your thought process yourself will take you to those paths, and you will harness the skills, and you will become a better person or a better applicant for that. And the pain point from an industry perspective, I will tell that once we post out a job,
yeah,
um, we get 300 applications, and you don't, and what we have to judge is in 20 minutes or 30 minutes we have to decide whether, I have to take this person. And as see, this is to the fresher community. If you're applying to a job, you're not paying anything, but when we are hiring, we have to put our money into
it's
that. So
the
yes,
candidates. It's too tough to screen 300 candidates.
exactly. So now, coming back to the point that I wanted to add is that when you are first time seeing a job post, I mean, whether it is in scientific writing, medical writing, or any field, even if your primary stream of field, if you're trying to apply for a job, these are all principles that applies everywhere. Please go and read the JD. JD is nothing but the job description. That is called JD. So if you understand those pointers, what that particular job demands from you, and if you don't understand something, then you can take suggestions from others. You can try first to understand the role, because if you don't understand the role, you will not know that what you need to upgrade. Because what is happening in today's world, there are a lot of career coaching, lot of courses. It's our time was information scarcity, and now it has become information overwhelm. I mean, so much, everybody teaches you so much, so we tend to get more confused in this scenario. So
Correct.
my request is that whenever you are applying for a job or even for a course, please do your homework, try to understand and see, find out your gaps first instead of pointing out to anybody else. So you will see that within very few, you will understand where you lack and you can just upskill yourself. And knowledge is, information is everywhere. It is not a big deal today. There are a lot of online courses, offline courses, whichever you think you need to upgrade, you can do that. And then you reapply to the job and you see if there is any difference.
Thank you, ma'am. This was a frequently asked questions. We receive mail. I have applied on 10
Right.
jobs, haven't received any call from the recruiter. There are a lot of I think 1,000+ companies are hiring from Swasa.
Yeah.
So they do apply, they ask. So this is very important. We'll put this particularly clip also on YouTube to help them out. So they should look
Yes.
into their resume. They should look into the JD, and they should look whether do they fit or not to particular JD. Just looking at just scientific writing, they should not click and apply.
So
Very
Amit,
interesting.
like just pricking you one sentence from you. I mean, I'm a very people's person. I keep speaking, and you can stop me if I'm making it too longer. So, like as you said, the CV. See, there are a lot of courses where they teach you how to make your CV. So my good advice would be definitely go ahead and take one of these courses so that you will understand. That is one suggestion. Second is, again, once you have your CV in hand, whether you do it yourself or you are get training and whatever, that is different aspect. What I'm trying to focus is that compare that JD with your CV, and you yourself will find out what is not there. Focus
Correct.
on that part, upskill, come back,
Yeah.
rewrite your resume and reapply. So I think that is how I should put it.
Really, I think very good career tip. I would say that's something we have been trying, but your language is very, I think, very fine tuned. So thank you for guiding the community, freshers especially. Now,
Right.
few are also experienced. So I would like you to highlight particularly the how you have explored the dental genetics side, how important role of saliva in dental research, and how you got into this, and how's this career in dental genetics.
Yeah. So basically, as I said in the beginning, I have a twisted academics, quote unquote, like not the typical academics. So like I developed inclination towards genetics from almost, I think, I don't remember, but right from school when we studied that first time, that cell, nucleus, chromosome, DNA. So somewhere
Yeah.
it got stuck. Then when through my basic sciences journey, like I did BSc in molecular biology, I did a post-graduation in applied genetics, and then I also worked my research career where I worked, on oral cancer genetics was my specific area. I worked in JNU, I worked in IIT Kharagpur. So from that, I had some personal reasons for which I had to come back to dentistry. One personal reason is that my entire family is of dentist, and I never wanted to be a dentist, but today I am. So second thing is that what when I studied dentistry, what I realized that when I was sitting in the lab doing all this cell culture, I was actually working with oral squamous cell, oral cancer cells, but I had no clue or no idea, and it was not needed that time, or I never realized that how would clinically this would look, because our project was targeting to silence some genes so that the oral cancer cells, the normal cells remains and the cancer
Yeah.
cells die. So I was thinking, I went deep down into the cell so much, but I really don't know what it looks like from the above. So when I read dentistry, I understood that, okay, so this is why this is happening. So that thought process made me understand. And also in the dental community particularly, there is a lot of scope where clinicians has, our curriculum is little superficial. We don't get a overview of, it's not a 360-degree circle.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to talk any negative things, but then I think it's just individual approach, you can do it. So that is how I came up with this dental genetics thing. And again, I must precisely mention that I haven't discovered it. It was existing, because if you see the Western world, the
Yeah.
type of education, the curriculum part, it is more
Yeah.
interdisciplinary. That lacks in our system. And it is not only in dentist, but the basic biosciences background is required if you want to be a good doctor. So this is just for your community who are from the medical or dental, people. So that how I came up, I understood that this has to be spoken, because I have seen MDS guys, I mean people who take up masters in dentistry.
Yeah.
So they're doing projects, they are doing molecular biology, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't even know that if the report, because they outsource this thing. So if they're seeing the report which they have, report of the lab, they are clueless. They don't know, okay, RNA, what is this? So what is this statistics they have read? I mean, I know. So they used to come to me, and I have helped many of my colleagues just like a friend, because I started my dentistry quite young. So I was
Yeah.
20 when I started studying dentistry, and my all my friends, I mean batchmates, were almost like my child's age. I mean 10, 12 years younger than me. So anyway, that was very exciting. So from there, I started that, okay, I have to talk about it. I have to make people aware about it. And that was my start of the dental genetics journey. And then I understood that, okay, I have to show the gaps, and I have to make them understand that this is where you can join them. So all these endeavor, all these years, from therein, the Indian Academy of Dental and Clinical Genetics popped up. And basically what I understood, that the game is same both sides, because since I saw academically, personally, I saw the basic sciences as well as the medical sciences per se, particularly dentistry. So I think this scenario of gap remains both sides. So it is very necessary that you understand, you at least not 360-degree, at least go 270-degree, up to that you go. And I'm not telling with this that you have to become a dentist, has to become a geneticist in overnight, or they have to pursue MSc now. Not required, but have that basic understanding. Same way, the people who are coming from biosciences, they can look into the pathologies. They should understand, which I did a mistake, or rather I had no clue that I had to do it, because I believe that my experiments would have been better. I realize that now, that if I would have known how oral cancer is clinically, what kind of treatments doctors do, then perhaps my experimental methodology, or the whatever the research methodology I used, would have a different dimension. So that is how I think interdisciplinary science, we need to talk about it, and I do a lot of awareness programs as well. So I think this is something which people need to understand, and that is what I keep promoting. And another thing is that everybody, when we are starting for the first time, we need some platform. So like
Correct.
the type of work you are doing, it is fantastic. So in my small scope, I also run a e-magazine, which is named as Genomeden. It is completely free, and it is, I ask people that you come and write. There is no cost involved, neither to the reader, neither to the writer. So this magazine is, you can send your article, and we will take it through a peer review. If any changes needed has to be done, and then you can publish it, just to help mostly freshers or people who are trying to get into the scientific writing industry, or science communication, medical writing, whatever, because you need to prove yourself at every time. So at least if you have some writing somewhere,
Sure,
so
sure.
that
I'll
gives a,
circulate to the whole Swasa community. They are into, and this is a very good opportunity for them to test the skill,
yes,
review their basically scientific writing with you and then they can publish in magazine. So we'll surely circulate this. And how, and then they can, this is one of the, I would say, this is one of the assessment or your personality tests you talked about, they can do. So how's also you are helping, you are founder director of KROYNAS Pvt. Ltd.
yeah.
And you also help in kind of recruitment in various, if a general site may people, or kind of interviewing tips if you want to give to them to how to clear in the industry,
Yeah.
particularly in this, yeah.
See, one thing I will tell about clearing interviews. First of all, uh, uh, I'm not an interview coach, by the way. So I I can tell you very honest things that is embedded as principles inside me, or what I believe, and how I have cracked myself. So I'll give you a small experience of mine, and I
Yeah.
think then people can relate it better. So I told you that I worked in JNU. So in my entire family, First of all, nobody would learn about genetics and stuff. And JNU was a dream place for everybody, I think. And personally, I belong from, I come from a very small town. So I'm a small town girl. So in West Bengal. So then when after my academics, after my post-graduation, as I said that I used to, that everybody does, you have to randomly apply, and you don't have to always think about it. So I don't remember also when I applied. So the experience I will tell you, and I will come back to your question with the interview. So I got a call from, one day I got a call that you were selected for an interview, I applied. I was thinking it's a prank because they're telling JNU, and I'm wrong number. I kept the phone. So it again rang. I took it up, and then, okay, it's an interview. So I just packed, and I knew nobody in New Delhi. There was nobody from my no relatives. Nothing. It's a new place. For the first time I was traveling, and I took my mom with me. We went on the, we just barged on the train and we reached JNU. And when I was very tensed, because people started asking me, do you know this guide? Do you this? No, I just came from West Bengal, just like that, for attending the interview. So when I entered the interview board, I was very tense, and I saw that at least 5 to 8 people were sitting, and I understand they're all big shots. So when the interview started, one trick, I'm telling this story for a reason, because this is the answer to your question. What I did, they sent me that this is the project, this is for you will be interviewed, so please come and so. This was the only email which I got, and the project name was written. I have never known what is RNA silencing at that point. Yeah, I'm trained as a master's in genetics, that is fine, but I had no clue. Only thing I did, I Googled what I just learned. Because I went in train that time, so I had a lot of hours to spend. I read in my entire journey about RNA silencing, blah, 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 what would be the things, applications. Meaning to say, I have digested Wikipedia on RNA silencing.
Wonderful tips. Wonderful. Yeah. So anyone is struggling with particular role, and this is very unique. And so you should do a research, whether you're going for a company, a role, even if you're not kind of thing, you must Google it, must do some research. Then in interview, you should go and prepare. This is wonderful tips.
I'll tell you, it's a very interesting story, because I never knew. So because later all these things I knew when I started working there. So they asked me some questions, and I could answer almost everything except 1 or 2, which was because they all asked me basics, and that is what I have read. They asked me what is silencing, what you know about the enzymes, and since of little background of my academics, definitely that you can answer. So they were thinking, oh, this is a great lady who has come, who is very knowledgeable. But I know if it is the 11th question, then I am gone, So
I would say you did what is required in the industry. So this is not just you gave. I asked one of the expert. He said you must read the particular JD. How you read, this is what I'm going for, the topic for interview. Even if no one knows everything, then you must do some research. Whether you go about the organization or whatever the particular question or role JD, it answers everything. You must read it. How quickly? I think during your journey from traveling to your small town to Monerika, which is JNU.
Right, Monerika. I used to stay there.
Behind that Monerika. So JNU campus. So in this particularly, within few days, you covered up all the essential topics and basically all fundamentals, and then you cracked the interview, right? Yes. This is the key thing, I would say, in any profession, but especially in medical, they ask how to prepare for interview. So this is a very subjective question. So
yes, and another thing which I would like to add here, that is where I was reading the story. So the 11th question came, and I was like, okay. Then I just told, sorry, sir, I don't know this. So then I thought, maybe they want more qualified people, more in-depth people. But I was happy that I could. Because I know now, I just read the last night about these things, and they were asking me all those questions.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
I
think that's
why I'm not answering in a typical way. There is a reason, because first of all, we relate to stories more, and this is a real story of my own life. And this is where we find the clues that are hidden. And it is happening. It has happened not only with me, but it is happening with everybody in some corner of the world.
Yes.
Today, you are a privileged person. You know why? Because information. You don't know. Finding that article was so difficult for me and taking a printout, because we didn't have that much of scope. We even don't. It was very difficult. I just did last night when I had to just board the train in the morning. I just did that and I read in train. Well, I'm not suggesting you to read in train, or you travel. But what I'm trying to say is that please, know where you are stepping in. And I got this. When I cracked this, I later understood that they generally don't take outsiders. It was because after I joined, many opportunity, many such jobs came up, like small projects. These were small projects. We need to have experience that time. So what I see that mostly it is internal candidates, because it's just you have to give an ad. You have to give.
Correct.
So I was the only person from who who was taken. So what I'm trying to
approach. That's the right approach.
Yeah, please be honest. When you don't know, please tell don't know. And don't tell I forgot. If you really forgot, you please tell you forgot. Okay, because one interviewer knows you more than you. Even if it is 20 minutes or 30 minutes, your body language is something which will express everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that is one thing which I will just like to highlight.
Research. That's the biggest tip. Everyone is given this kind of idea.
Yeah. So be honest and do your own research in anything that you are deciding, and don't depend on every time your parents, your friends, your senior, because everybody will give their perspective to you according to their experience. So what about your own experience? So this is very important. I'm very loud about it.
This is common. We do interview of all the career coaches and kind of such inspiration in the industry, and they said the same thing. This was the common thing. So you must do research before going to interview. Whatever particular topic or JD you have gone through, you must do some research.
Correct.
It's not possible everyone would know everything.
Yes. Nobody knows that.
Yeah, correct. You have to prepare for the particular interview. Thank you. This is wonderful. That was something frequently asked questions. I think I've asked many things to you. And we'll conduct such events. And thank you for guiding to the community, especially also the freshers and those who are losing hope after applying for more than 10 applications, and they're saying we are not getting any interview calls. And if they get interview calls, also sometimes they are unable to qualify. So your whole journey is covered. So that's wonderful. I would also request you to also share more such insights through blog. Will be circulating to community. They can read. I'll be sharing this details, and whomsoever you want to also, if you come across anything, you can recruit them through Swasa. Any requirement comes, because you also help the industry also in finding the right talent. So you can recruit from Swasa, and we'll be glad to have you again on the particularly events. So we regularly conduct this career guide event, the panel discussion and all. So I request you to join there also. And thank you for today guiding the whole community. Okay. Thank you everyone who has joined and they're listening to this talk. And we'll again have such career coaches who will guide you in difficult phases of your life, whether you're starting a journey or you have some experience, you're trying to crack some interview, and how's a career in scientific writing and all. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for guiding everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.